Today, we're diving into something that could totally change how we build and deploy software. I mean, forget about handcrafting endless configuration files. We're going to follow the journey from a simple, human-written blueprint straight to a fully deployed Kubernetes application, and it's all powered by AI.
So, let's just start with this question. What if you never had to write infrastructure code again? Seriously, imagine a world where your job as a developer is to just define what you need built, and an AI handles all the complex, tedious how. Well, that's the exact paradigm shift we're exploring.
So where does a radical idea like this even begin? It all starts with a super solid foundation. Before a single line of code gets generated, the entire process is governed by a strict set of rules, what this project calls its constitution. At the absolute heart of it all is this one single, non-negotiable rule. No build, deployment, or configuration occurs without an approved written specification. This is the core principle of specification before action, and it's all about baking discipline into the process right from the very start.
So, these are the four pillars of that constitution. First up, specification before action, which we just talked about. Second, AI-only implementation. And this is huge. It means humans review what AI generates instead of writing it themselves. Third, local-only infrastructure, which keeps everything on a local Kubernetes cluster, in this case Minikube, so you have zero cloud costs. And finally, full auditability, where every single step is tracked.
All right, so with those rules established, we can enter the blueprint phase. This is where we craft a really detailed specification before any of the building actually happens. So, what exactly is a specification in this context? Well, it's not some technical document telling an engineer how to write code. Nope. Think of it as a high-level plan that defines what needs to exist. It's filled with user stories, clear requirements, and, this is crucial, measurable success criteria. But it's completely agnostic about the implementation details.
And notice how the project gets broken down. It's not one giant task, but these prioritized user stories. P1 is the absolute minimum. Just get the app deployed. P2 tests a core Kubernetes feature, scaling. And P3 adds a nice touch with a Helm chart, which is kind of like a package manager for Kubernetes to make installations super easy. This whole approach allows for incremental, testable delivery.
Now, to maintain that discipline, the scope is ruthlessly defined. So what's in scope? Everything needed for a local, repeatable deployment. Containerization, manifests, and Helm charts, all generated by AI. And what's out? All the complexity of a full-blown production environment, like cloud deployments and CI/CD pipelines. This sharp focus is exactly what makes the process manageable and incredibly fast.
And here's a really crucial point. Success isn't just a vague feeling, it's measured. The specification actually demands a deployment time under 5 minutes, pod startups in less than 30 seconds, and scaling in under a minute. Every goal is concrete and completely verifiable.
Okay, now for the really exciting part. Once that blueprint is approved, we move to execution. This is where we hand over the keys and the AI takes the wheel, generating all the necessary code for us.
Remember that high-level, human-readable specification we just saw? The AI broke it down into this: 93 granular, atomic, and executable tasks. This just shows the incredible level of detail the AI is operating at, turning a broad vision into a super precise, step-by-step action plan.
And how does a human interact with this system? Well, you're not writing code. You're writing prompts, like this one. A simple, clear instruction. Generate a production-grade Docker file for a React to-do front end. The developer's job is now all about effective communication with the AI. And this is what you get back. From that simple English prompt, the AI generates complex, production-ready Kubernetes YAML. I mean, look at the detail. API version, kind, metadata, replicas, it's all there, perfectly formatted, without a human having to type a single line of it.
And this slide really nails the fundamental shift. The developer's role evolves from being a doer who writes the code to a strategist who writes the specs. You move from debugging complex YAML to just validating the AI's output. It's a complete evolution of the job. So what's the big payoff for all this upfront discipline and this AI-driven workflow? Let's look at the result. An astonishingly simple 5-minute deployment. All that complexity we saw, those 93 tasks, the YAML files, all the configurations, it gets distilled into these 6 straightforward steps. You start Minikube, configure Docker, build the images, update one secrets file, deploy, and then access the app. That's it. It transforms what could be an hour-long, error-prone process into something that's repeatable, fast, and totally reliable.
Okay, so let's zoom out. This isn't just some cool tech demo.
This really points towards the future of development. So why does this all matter?
Well, here are the key benefits. You get full auditability. Every single step from the initial prompt to the final deployment is logged. Speed. A 5-minute deployment really speaks for itself. Consistency. The AI generates the same high-quality code every time, which eliminates a ton of human error. And zero cost. Because it's all running locally on Minikube, there are no cloud bills to worry about.
And this brings us to a final, pretty provocative thought. This whole process is about automating the how. The tedious implementation details of Docker files, Kubernetes manifests, and Helm charts. So if the AI builds the how, what incredible new things will humans be freed up to design next?